Police Force, FCT Command, Abuja, made of 4 NCOs, 3 constables, commanded by Force Number 450989, Sergeant Moses John. Guard 4, the defense inspector, sir! Who that out? To stand at the gas, sir! Stop fast! Remain to the guard. Yes, miss!
I must state that your visit to the command during this hour of trial for the Nigerian Police Force and FCT command in particular is apt and will go a long way in boosting the morale of the officers and men of the FCT command. Sir, it is no news that the infamous NSAS movement, which commenced on the 11th of October at the Unity Fountain, eventually resulted into violent agitations which festered other criminal activities within the last 2 weeks in the FCT. As a result of this, the command recorded 16 major incidences resulting from the violent clashes which erupted at the Bega roundabout, Aku, Kabusa roundabout, Kubwa, Dus Al-Haji, and some other places. This was followed by a high wave of looting and vandalization of public infrastructures, warehouses, and other private properties at Kubwa, Gwagwalada, Jabit, IGP, Ido, and Guye. This series of events led to the tragic loss of about 10 lives, several persons with various degrees of injuries. Some vehicles and properties set ablaze, while others were vandalized. The most devastating of these activities was the malicious burning of Dus Makaranta police outpost. During the period under review, the command has arrested and arraigned 196 suspects in court for different offenses that bordered on this looting and raiding of public properties. Out of the 196 arraigned, 10 have been convicted. 1 was discharged. 73 suspects were granted bail, while 112 are remanded in prison custody. Undeterred by the recent happenings, the command has remained resolute in the discharge of its fundamental responsibility of protecting lives and property of the FCT residents. However, the command has challenges of operational vehicles, shortage of riot equipment, and manpower. I humbly request the Inspector General of Police in his magnanimity to oblige the command additional operational vehicles, manpower, riot equipment to boost operational capacity of the command. At this juncture, sir, on behalf of the officers and men of the FCT command, I want to express my profound gratitude for your unwavering support this critical moment. Your visit will indeed revamp the dampened spirit of officers and men of the FCT command and spur them to discharge their duties in a better manner. Thank you very much, sir. God bless.
The protest started as peaceful protests, but at the course of the protest, I knew how you went about to protect the protesters so that they will not be molested. But at the course of the protest turned violent. Violent not only on other members of the public, but also against police officers. We've seen where police stations were attacked. Individuals, property that belongs to individuals were attacked. Vehicles were destroyed. These are criminal activities that the protesters wanted to provoke you so that you use maximum force against them and for them to achieve another aim of justifying police brutality. When they didn't see that, they went into violence. But because of your resilience, because of your professionalism, you are able to show maximum restraint. You are able to meet up to the standard that is required in quelling protests by not using your firearms. And that has led to exposure of the way Nigerian police officers, especially those in FCT, are professionally trained to deal with unrest in the country. So I wish to thank you for that resilience. I wish to thank you for showing that restraint. And everybody, including the international community, have seen that you've acted professionally. The aim was to demoralize you. The aim was to dehumanize you so that you will not be able to perform your duties. But you are not provoked to that extent. Despite the attacks, despite the molestation on some of you in persons, you still came out to perform your duties as is required of you. So we thank you most sincerely for this. Those officers that lost their lives all over the country, they will not die in vain. Because adequate compensation has been planned for them in an extensive manner to show that they serve their country to the extent of losing their lives. And every Nigerian would be proud to say that at the cost of serving his own country, he lost his life. The federal government has vowed to make sure that from now onward, the police is reformed in all segments of the force, whether it is in area of logistics or in area of welfare to individual officers or to our barracks. It is for that reason that the federal government, for the past 10 years, the government of this country has been trying to come up with an intervention in terms of police trust fund where money can be found to take care of police needs. It is only this government that was able to see to light the passage into law of police trust fund. So all our barracks will be taken care of. All our logistic requirements in terms of vehicles, in terms of accoutrement, in terms of medicals, all segments of what is required of police officers to have for them to perform their duties, the fund will take care of that. Not only that, within the new Police Act that has been passed into law, there are a lot of provisions that take care of the welfare of police officers. It is not administrative way or administrative procedure to take care of the officers, but it is now legal that those welfare requirements must be given. And it is this government that passed into law that Police Act 2020. We are always thinking of retirement. What do you have? What do we think of when we retire? This administration, this government has taken care of our health requirement in terms of retirement. When we retire, we are also to benefit from the National Health Insurance Scheme. So a lot of our retirees have already keyed into that, so we wouldn't be afraid when we retire. How can we use the little money we have for our retirement to take care of our health? The government has taken care of that. And there are many other reforms that are ongoing. After leaving here, I'm going to address all the commissioners of police through virtual conference this afternoon. And we are going to take stock of some of the challenges that we notice as a result of this protest, so that we address them. We don't allow it to happen again. So we are here today to tell you that the government is concerned with what happened, and the government is behind all of us. The federal government is behind all of us. You remember the speech Mr. President gave, where he said not all police officers are bad, only few that are there that are bad, and that they have to be reformed, and that the federal government is fully behind the police, and that the federal government will never accept any police officer to lose his life. That the unity of this country lies on the support that is given to police officers. Because if you lose or if you are demoralized, the tendency is for criminals to take over the public space. And the country is relying on us to make sure that the public space is not taken care, it's not taken over by the criminals. So no amount of provocation, no amount of insult will make us to shy away from our responsibilities, in as much as we are aware that government is behind us. So we'll encourage you to continue performing your duties. We'll encourage you to be professional in performing your duties. We'll encourage you to be civic. But if anybody touches you, if anybody comes to assault you, you can also protect yourselves. When we talk of human rights, the police are human. So the rights of police officers must also be protected. So we are sending the message that legally we have the right to protect ourselves. But while we are doing that, we'll make sure that until we are in danger. Okay? So from now onward, we are going to bring out to the public the package that the government has put in place for those officers that lost their lives at the course of this protest. We are going to bring out the package on how to take care of the police stations and police installations that were damaged. So I wish you once again thank you for being professional and thank you for defending the country. I will encourage you to do more. Thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Thank you to our
It is really unfortunate that such a very important, critical infrastructure of the country, where our youth, graduates, leaders of tomorrow, are being groomed for them to understand what leadership is, and so that when they graduate, after doing their national service, giving their service to the nation, then they go into the society and contribute to national development. The place was heavily looted to the extent that you will imagine foodstuffs were taken, windows were broken into, even the burglaries of the windows were broken and then taken away. The clinic where drugs were kept for the benefit of coppers were looted. Everything that you can think of were looted. You can imagine if the coppers were around when these hoodlums entered here, the damage would have been much. We thank God there was no loss of life. But those that broke into this facility and stole anything at all, we assure Nigerians that we'll pursue them, we'll track them, and we'll prosecute them. So far, some of the looted items were recovered, and a number of those looters were arrested, and they are undergoing prosecution now. We'll call on members of the public to please report anybody that they have seen with any property that came from this camp, or any property that such an individual is having that ordinarily he should have not gotten it. It must have been looted from somewhere. Members of the public are called upon to report to the nearest police station for such person to be apprehended and for such items to be recovered. The coordinator, maybe you have a word to say before I conclude.
The Inspector General of Police, the FCT coordinator. So I want to use this opportunity to thank you for this opportunity to come and see first-hand information, the level of destruction in the camp.
Sorry, sir.
The challenge we have is that people think that NYSC camps have palliatives, tips in our camps. We are preparing for resumption of our orientation exercise on November 10th, and that is the preparation we are doing. So I want to use this opportunity to appeal to Nigerians to not place attack our facilities, because these corps members are going to be trained and to going to render service to our country. I want to once again thank you, Mr. President, for your concern. And also always appreciate you whenever call upon of NYSC activity and security, you always respond for us. So thank you very much.
Wait, we'll do that.
We know that God is watching us. We should learn to live well with our community, with the people in the community. The mob action they came in was so unfortunate. It saddens us that some of the youth that came in, we do employ them during the camp as cleaners, as masons. And so most of them that came in came with people and showed them. And they kept telling whoever has ears to listen that they are coming to the camp to get their own palliatives. It's unfortunate we cannot move on like this. So I'm calling on the youth to please and please obey authorities. Get something doing so that at the end of the day, somebody's property, you won't have eye on somebody's property. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. We pray to God that we will have better youth and Nigeria will be great again. Thank you.
Listen, sir. Can we ask you, sir? Yes, go ahead.
Because we cannot quantify now because recoveries have been made. In fact, I just showed the Inspector General of Police of some items we just recovered now. And I'm happy to even tell Nigeria some people on their own, the looters on their own, return some of our mattresses on their own. So more recoveries have been made. I'm sure by the time we're finished, we will now get the monetary. We have forwarded the level of destruction to the FCT because camps are the responsibility of states, and the one for the FCT is the responsibility of the Federal Capital Territory Administration. The items looted and destroyed have already forwarded it to the FCT for quick intervention because our orientation is barely almost 2 weeks from now.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
No. The 3 so far have been arrested, and more will be arrested. Based on that's why we call on members of the public. When you see these people carrying these looted items, some of the looted items are labeled for this camp and can clearly be seen. Some motorcycles, uniforms were looted. The kits for core members were looted. So members of the public, we see your wards or anybody close to you with NYSC kits, and you know he has not gone for any orientation camp, you know that those items were looted, so it should be reported. So we believe we'll make more arrests. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.